Hi, what's up guys? Dr. M3 here with a new video for you. Oh my God, the looks that I still get in this car to this day is amazing. Well, I'm gonna give you 5 reasons why I think this car that I'm in today is a better car than the Ferrari LaFerrari, the Mclaren P1, as well as the 918 Spyder. And you may figure out where I'm going with this, but this 2014 car was revolutionary at the time. But before I tell you all about it and give you my hot take, a controversial take, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on, so you get videos of this and my other cars, as well as some motivational videos when I upload them. Well, reason number 1 is exactly what's happening here. I will tell you that I have now just over 30,000 miles. I'm the original owner of this car. The weather is not so nice. As you can see, it's raining a little bit here. But from 2014 until 2019, so 5 years, 6 years even, I daily drove this car. So, car that has the design that you saw in the Holy Trinity of the cars, a gasoline engine combined with electric, was before we had the McLaren P1, before the LaFerrari, and before the 918 Spyder. And not only that, that exotic hypercar concept was put into a car that was a fraction of those cars, the price of those cars, and yet you can daily it. That's what I'm doing right now. So that's reason number 1. I think the BMW i8 is a better car because you can daily it. I would challenge you to find me any of those 3 other cars that are being daily driven, including in the winter, by the way. I wintered this car and it was amazing. It was solid, rock solid for those 6 years. BMW i8. So let me give you some background about the BMW i8 before we sort of get right into it. So the i8 was introduced in 2009 at the German International Auto Show and was called the Vision Efficient Dynamic concept. And this car was revolutionary at the time. Not only in its design, it was futuristic, it had transparent door sills, and you're going to see why that's important because there's a car that came later, not quite the same, but the McLaren P1, and more importantly, the Senna had transparent doors, but the concept, the P1 concept, had a concept that would potentially have transparent doors. But this was introduced at that time, revolutionary, and incredibly, about 4 years later, BMW actually produced this car. Nobody thought that they would produce a car that looked like that concept. Lots of manufacturers create cars, concepts, never produce them, or at least the production version doesn't look like it. In fact, the BMW i8 looked very much like the Vision Dynamics. Now, we all knew that transparent door for crash testing and DOT compliance probably would never make it. But the angles, the exotic looks, the flying buttress, the overall view of this car was amazing, revolutionary for BMW. Most exotic BMW, maybe other than the M1 that they had ever produced. On top of it, the sort of specs on this was a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbo engine, really out of the John Cooper Works, the Mini Cooper car, with 2 electric motors, one supplying power to the front axle and a smaller one on the engine to torque fill, essentially. That gave this car a combined horsepower at the time of 369 horsepower. That's incredible. In fact, that's incredible for today's standard even. But back then in 2000, in the late 2000s, was actually pretty good, and it's still more horsepower than a lot of cars today. Having said that, what was more important was the torque. Because of those electric motors, one, you didn't have as much the turbo lag, and number two, there was so much more feeling that you got from this turbo, small, granted, turbocharged engine. So this was pretty controversial. I would make the argument, I still make the argument today, that the BMW i8 is not a supercar by any means, but it is in fact an exotic car. Right. So we have reason number two. We can say price. So I will be the first to admit the P1, 918, and LaFerrari have done the opposite of what this car has done in terms of price. But that's, I think, the value in it. Those cars have gone up significantly in value. The base price of this car was about $140,000, $139 and change, I believe, if I recall. These cars today, you can get for under $30,000, which is a good and bad thing. This car is now 11 years old, but I would say it still held its value well. You see more and more people getting into this and recognizing this car for what it was. It was a pioneer well before its time, and it's only now that we're getting more hybrid cars, right? Hybrid performance cars. So I think that's reason number two. The price. I think it's a compelling argument that you can get the exotic, feel pretty good torque, pretty decent performance, not the best. I don't think it's supercar performance, but I think it's a good combination. That's reason number two. I think the BMW i8 is better than the Holy Trinity. So behind me there is this thing that we're talking about, in case you couldn't figure it out from my in-car comments. But another thing that I think is really incredible and makes this a better car than the Holy Trinity is you can take 4 people in it. Now, granted, you can probably put 3 additional petite women in the P1 918 Spyder, right, and the LaFerrari, but they have their own individual seats in the backseat of this car. And I'm going to show you some videos of actually us doing this, where we had adults in the back. Now, granted, is it comfortable? No. But can you actually do it? The answer is absolutely, positively yes. So that's a couple of other things. Just look at the design of this thing. It is incredibly exotic to this day. And I will tell you that it's never been copied, right? The design from the flying buttresses I just talked about, the swooping design, the look on this thing with the doors, and you've seen what the doors look like here. This design has never been copied. And of course, you can say, well, the design of the other 3 have never been copied, but that's not entirely true. They have elements. If you take a look at the Mclaren, the power plant has been used by so many of their other cars, in fact, virtually all of them. Although the power plant on this car, it was unique to the BMW i8. So it is truly a unique vehicle. It has exotic looks, pretty decent performance. Maybe it's not a supercar performance, but still pretty damn good for 369 horsepower. I will also tell you that the looks that this car gets, in fact, because of the doors, people have said, oh, they actually have called it a Lamborghini. I've been in gas stations and they called it a Lamborghini, with a guy even looking at the BMW badge and is like, oh, awesome, I love your Lamborghini. So it's the response. This car does have that exotic car look and feel to it. Can't get any better than that. So to close this out, also, if you think about it, the fuel efficiency of this 1.5 liter 3-cylinder engine is incredible. There are times I would get 92 mpge. I've gotten that out of this car. I would say try that with the LaFerrari, try that with that V12, or the P1, or the 918 Spyder. Won't even come close. So there are the reasons why I say that the i8 is better than the Holy Trinity of cars. It's the originator. It started it all. And nowadays, of course, we have other cars now, hyper and supercars, that are hybrid assist with electric or whatever. I still say that this car was ahead of its time. So I hope you enjoy this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on. We'll see you guys in the next video. Tell me what you think about this and if I'm completely wrong. I think I am onto something here, but you let me know. Peace.